you know, when Linda and I were talking about, you know, what I was going to make for today, I wanted to make a salad because it was hot the day I was thinking about it. Then it started raining and I thought, no, we should make a soup. And so I went back and forth. So luckily Leanne made that yummy soup.
With Rosa's help.
With Rosa's help. And I made the salad with Rosa's help. So Rosa is really involved in everything. So how's everybody doing? Good? All right. So we're going to be talking about fats today. I will move my little snacks over here. So what do you think? Have you eaten the salad yet? What do you think about the crispy rice? That's what fascinated me about the recipe. It's just rice that's cooked already, and then you cook it again in the oven, and it makes it crispy. But it's not fried. What do you think of it? Did you notice? I think it's fun to have a little crunch.
Did you season them?
Yeah, you season them a little bit. I think I would have seasoned it more. And I think if I did the salad again, I'd put your nuts and seeds on it. And I would maybe, it's got dates in it, but I would do more dried fruit, like raisins or raisins or something. Okay, so this meeting's being recorded. Okay. So thank you everybody for coming today. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so I just included this little list of things. I like to follow Dr. Christy Funk. She's a doctor. She wrote a few books on breast cancer, and I think she's really awesome and knows all the studies so well. No. Am I supposed to be doing something?
What's this?
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. Oh, yeah. So she has this little list of things that help reduce risk of breast cancer. And breast cancer is for men and women, but I know it's mostly women who think about it. And I just listened to her on a podcast get interviewed today, and she's so good at knowing all the statistics and knowing like this percentage happens when you do this. And I'm really terrible at remembering all that, but I think she's really good. So she has these things, and then she threw in a few extra that I will tell you about. But 4 ways to reduce our risk: choose plant-based foods. Now, I know not everybody's fully plant-based, that's okay, but we need to have as much plant-based as we can. So maybe we use meats as a little side dish, but what we want to do at all costs is avoid processed meats. What are processed meats? Bacon, lunch meat, salami, bologna, pepperoni, yes, all the E's. Hot dogs, good one.
See, like uncured meat,
Uh-huh.
are like a salami or a bacon, or are those? I mean, are they better for you, or is it not really?
I would think no, not really.
Repeat.
Oh, the question is, so when you see things that are uncured, like a salami that's uncured, is that going to be better for you? And I think the answer would be no. Yeah, I don't think they would be. I think they just don't cure it. When cure it is when they just, yeah, they don't use the nitrates. So the processed meats are known carcinogens, cancer-causing foods. So that the Cancer Society says it too. So we don't want to be eating those. If we're going to eat meat, okay, maybe we stick with the chicken or the fish, but turkey, poultry, yeah, you're right, no skin, but we don't want to do processed. And she's a big soy proponent too, as am I. Soy, a lot of times we're afraid to have soy. We've heard bad things about it. We've heard that it's going to give men boobs, that it's, going to cause cancer. And none of those studies have proven to be true. So soy actually can help reduce risk of cancers. So we want to include soy. We want to exercise regularly, just like you all are doing. It helps with our immune system. That's one of the big things it does. And then that immune system helps you to be able to fight off cancers there's certain cells in our body that help kind of protect other cells from damage. And so that's what exercise helps us do. Limit alcohol, which is a sad one for me, but it does raise estrogen levels, causes DNA damage. We're just finding more and more every day that there's just nothing good about alcohol. So trying to avoid alcohol and maintaining a healthy weight. Those are, when we have extra fat on our body, those fat cells like to make more estrogen, which contributes more to our increased risk of breast cancer. But she threw in 3 things today that I was listening to. And her things were on the list of lifestyle medicine pillars. And one is sleep, getting adequate sleep, bless you, stress management, and social connection. And those are all related to our heart health, as we know, and to our health in general, but also directly to breast cancer. So we want to work on the 3 S's also: sleep, stress, social connection. So you get a lot of that right here. I love that about our program. We got the social connection right here. And we have a lot of classes I know on sleep. So, okay, that's how, and there's a walk at Sac State right here on Saturday, no, Sunday, for breast cancer, if you're interested. You don't even have to pay. You can just show up to walk. Okay, so we're talking about fats today. Now I want to talk about healthy fat. But when you think about fat, look at a few of these things. Do you think about these things? Or what else do you think about when you think about fat? Sweets? Because
Olive oil.
olive oil, you're right. And that would be one of our good fats, right? I don't even know if that's on here, but okay, yes, olive oil. What?
Guacamole.
Oh, guacamole. Oh, you had to just throw that one out, didn't you? You're right. That would be our healthy fat. You're right. And what did I hear over here?
You said that.
Butter. So you're right. We got butter. So here we got our French fries. We've got just like a horrible Grand Slam breakfast there with bangers and mash and all that stuff. We got, that looks like a little ham croissant sandwich. We got our burgers and fries. We got pizza. So there's good fats and bad fats. And I have to say, way back in the day when we started at the heart disease reversal program, that was in the height of fat-free. And we were just starting to learn that fats weren't so good for our heart. And so we all went fat-free. And I don't know that we didn't know then what we know now, that there are healthy fats and we need healthy fats, and those can be okay. And so we started eating Snackwells like crazy. Remember Snackwells cookies? Oh yeah, because they must be okay because they're fat-free. And remember those chips, those Wow chips? Oh my gosh. They were cooked with this stuff called Olestra, which was like a fat, but it blocked it. Do you remember those Wow chips, Linda? We had that at a few potlucks. So, we didn't know. Now we know a lot more stuff. So we know that healthy fats are good in limited quantities. They're still fat, they're still high calorie, but in limited quantities. So fats play a really important role. They do give our foods texture, they give them flavor. As you know, when you start to cut fats out, hey, this doesn't taste quite like it's supposed to. They smell good, even though lots of everything else can smell good without the fats. They give us calories, which is also, energy is another word for calories. 9 calories in every gram. How many calories are in a gram of protein? 4. How about a gram of carbohydrate? 4. So what's more fattening? Fat, carbs, or protein? I'm thinking fat. But then why, when people go on a diet, I'm cutting out all my carbs? That's not the fattening stuff. This is the fattening stuff. So some of our fats have good effects on our health, some have not so good. So that's what we'll talk about today. We got animal sources of dietary fats from any animal. So that's going to be your meats, your cheeses, your dairy products. Am I missing anything? Well, I'm going to have to throw in here beef tallow, as everybody is pushing the beef tallow right now. Have you heard this rage? Oh my gosh, it is so disgusting. Yes, everybody's saying it's natural, so it must be good for us. I know. You can buy it in a jar, beef tallow. It's beef tallow. Yeah.
No,
It's
lard.
Is it lard, or is it when you like melt down the cow? So yeah, rendered fat. Yes.
It's what's in the middle of Twinkies and Oreos.
No.
So it used to be.
It used to be, yeah, now
And it was used to be in McDonald's fries.
in fries, that's right. For a number of years, they did it with the fries because it's natural and it's probably cheap. Okay, so those are our animal sources of fats. Then we have plant sources. So you've got your vegetable oils, and those usually came from something like avocado oil, walnut oil, flax oil, corn oil. We'll talk about those oils too. We've got nuts, avocados, seeds. All those would be our plant sources. And I don't know why I didn't throw this in here, but we'll talk about our palm and coconut oils because those are from plant sources, but aren't as good for us. And then we have hidden fats, things that you'd look at and you think, I don't think that's very fattening. It doesn't look fattening, like French fries. Well, I think we all know fries aren't the best thing for us, but maybe in pasta, we don't know. Or I can't tell you how many people tell me that they're going to switch to vegetarian eating. And so when they go out, now they get like eggplant parmesan, which would be lots of hidden fat because they're going to fry that eggplant and then they're going to smother it in cheese. Baked goods, you can't always see it there. Salad dressings. And, you know, usually you got oil or some type of base in your salad dressing. Today, our salad dressing, I don't know if you are enjoying it or not, but it was pumpkin, tahini. So that's a fat too, because it's ground up sesame seeds, maple syrup, soy sauce, balsamic vinegar. Thank you. Yes. And a few little seasonings. So it's healthy fats. It's still got a little fat in it. So if we eat saturated fats, and I'm going to show you what those look like. We're going to do a little chemistry class today. But these saturated fats have been shown to raise our LDL. You know what that is? Our low density lipoprotein, our bad cholesterol in our blood. They're associated with heart disease and stroke. They contribute to clogging our arteries. They contribute to weight gain. And actually, any fat can do that. But we still hear every day, like the beef tallow people, oh, saturated fats aren't that bad for us. There have been consistent studies for decades that have shown that saturated fats are not good for our heart health. So don't buy into all that stuff. You're always pushing it, aren't you, Paul? So it's just a little bit, okay? Sure. A little bit's okay. Yeah, it's, you got to pick. Remember when we've talked about like even our dietary guides, we're going to come up with the Debbie diet and the Paul diet and the whoever you are diet, and whatever works for you and your lifestyle and whatever you can do for the rest of your life. That's the eating style you want to pick. That's going to be good for your heart. So yeah, a little bit's going to be all right. So which in this little plate, which has the most fat? The bacon, the eggs, the hash browns, the muffin. Hash browns? The muffin. Muffin. I would have gone bacon.
Me too. I think the bacon. I would do bacon.
Okay. So, oh, there we go. So it is the muffin, you smarty pants.
Yeah.
And it's mainly because it's so big. A muffin like that, that's like the kind you would get if you went to Costco and got those big muffins. They're like the equivalent to 4 pieces of bread. They're 4 servings. So that's why it's so high, 32 grams. The hash browns, though, a good close second, 15. And that's because you had these great potatoes that had no fat in them, but then they just suck up the oil like a sponge. And then you got the eggs, so they've got some fat too. And then we got the bacon. Sadly, the bacon is the least here. But I think it's just pure fat. I don't really think there's even a whole lot of protein in there. So the ones we don't want to have too much of are the saturated fat, the cholesterol, which comes only from animal products, and the trans fats. So the trans fats are naturally in some foods, but they're created when we try to do certain things to fats. I think I have a slide on that. The ones that are more heart healthy, but we still want to be moderate in them, are the monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, and omega-3s. So this is where I think we get into the chemistry class. Oh, no, we don't. Okay, we got a label. And just show where you can find this stuff on your label so you can know. So like Paul, you said you just went and you saw those walnuts and when you looked at the label, oh, there was some saturated fat in them. We didn't think they had saturated fat. Well, most fats aren't just one type of fat. They're usually a combination. So I need to switch my slide to a different one. This is just how the newer labels look up on the top compared to the old labels. But you look at total fat, and then as a subset of that, it tells you what the label has to say is how much saturated and trans. Those are the unheart healthy ones. So they have to list those. Now, if you were looking at your oatmeal label, you would see it also lists monounsaturated fat and polyunsaturated fat. They don't have to list those. But I think a lot of companies do list those kind of in a marketing thing. To say, oh, this isn't as bad as we thought it was. So here's our chemistry. So this is a triglycerides. Anybody had their triglycerides measured? Triglycerides are a way to carry fats around. And so it's got this little blue thing. It's a glycerol backbone, it's called. So this holds onto it. It can hold 3 fatty acids. And so each of these fatty acids could be different. So I'm going to go here. This one up on the top. I know this one, it's going to hurt today. I know. This is saturated fat on top. So all of our triglycerides definitely, or our fats, have that one end, the glycerol backbone, and they have a methyl end. They also call that the omega end. I don't know why. And then on the other end, there's this carbon. The C's are carbon, the O's are oxygen, the H's are hydrogen. I call that an acid group at the other end. A saturated fat, all the little C's and all the little H's are attached to one thing. If you think of your carbon as having 4 hands, it's holding hands on all 4 sides. That's a saturated fat. You couldn't squeeze anything else on there. And so saturated fat, because of the way they are made up, they are more solid at room temperature, like our lard or our butter or our beef tallow, for that much. We're going to be a beef tallow day. The next one, these are our monounsaturated fats. And what that means is in that whole string of carbons, and our fats come in lots of different length strings, there's one little spot, and they call it one point of unsaturation, meaning those 2 carbons are holding hands with each other instead of with hydrogens. So we could squeeze a couple things in there if we wanted to. So 1 point mono of unsaturation. And then poly means many. So a polyunsaturated fat has multiple points where those carbons are holding hands with each other instead of hydrogens. We could put other things in there. Now, depending on where your first double bond is, you guys, this is going to be on the chemistry final. Your double bond is from the omega end, that makes it this one, the second one down, that is an omega 6. So the first point of unsaturation is 6 in. Whereas our bottom one, it's 1, 2, 3 in. That's an omega 3. The way these are like omega 3s, where do you think of omega 3s? What food? Salmon. So that helps them to be like flexible, the type of fat they have in their body. So that's kind of your chemistry lesson for the day. We'll hope that's all I did. Yep. So saturated fat, solid at room temperature, mostly in animal foods, except for those darn tropical oils. Those are made from plant foods, but they're still highly saturated, coconut and palm kernel oil. Now, who uses palm kernel oil when you cook at home? Anybody? None of us do. We don't even know what that stuff is. But it's cheap and it goes into processed goods because it lasts a long time. We don't use it at home. Other cultures do, though. Other cultures might use that in their cooking. We just tend to not. Now, long chain saturated fats, that means lots of carbons, increase that LDL, and they're associated with heart disease. So you can see here, we've got our arteries. We're born and they're nice and clean and everything's so good. And then we have years and years and years of abuse, of eating the typical American diet, of not taking great care of ourselves. It just starts to get more and more clogged up. And now we don't have as much room for the blood to flow through. And as that goes around the edges of our arteries, it hardens our arteries too, which is atherosclerosis. So I just want to throw a thing out about coconut because coconut has the best marketing in the entire world because everybody thinks it's a big health food now, especially vegans. They are all about the coconut. It's a medium chain saturated fat, meaning it's not as long as others. And it might not be as bad as we thought all saturated fats were. It might not need to be lumped in with all the saturated fats because it's the shorter chain. It's digested a little more quickly, gets into the bloodstream. It might bypass the fat tissues, maybe. So less likely to be stored as fat. But it does not make it a health food. We should not be putting coconut oil and fats on everything. Now, is a little bit okay? Sure.
My mind.
Well, you got to have a mounds once in a while.
He does
So-
push it.
He does, I know.
So today in the soup,
Yes.
we made our own coconut milk.
Thank
with
you.
Oat milk and coconut flavoring.
Extract.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what you can do. And that's what I do at home too.
Yeah.
It's often a little less thick than you would normally get, but the flavor is usually right on. Yes, very good. Thank you for doing that. So here's some other saturated fat sources. You got all your meats, ground meats, sausage, fried meat, steaks, meat, milks and dairies, the high fats. Now we can get non-fat of a lot of these things too. You're right. Egg yolks are where the saturated fat is, not the whites. Fried foods, sour cream, anything with cream in the title, whipped cream, sour cream, ice cream, chips and
just being
crackers.
mean.
I know, I am just being mean. I'm so sorry. The good thing is, especially nowadays, there are alternatives. They're not always the same though. I mean, you might be disappointed sometimes in their flavors, but there are alternatives. Pizza, not just because of the cheese, but because of the sausage and pepperoni and whatever else you put on it. And there's our desserts or candy. Sadly, our mounds. I do love me a mounds.
Is it the sodium and the cheese that makes it addicting?
That's what they say, that in dairy products, there is gosh, I can't think of what a case,
You see?
it's casein, but there's another word attached to it, like morphocasein or something. And it's meant to have you want to come back. It's meant to have those little baby cows who that milk is intended for want to come back and eat. But somewhere along the line, we decided to drink it.
Fat cultures who have a lot of cheese and diet. White. Being really, and, a large portion of every meal has cheese in it.
So in cultures where they do eat a lot of cheese, how do they avoid like being overweight or heart disease? I don't think they do.
Oh,
Do they? I mean, if we think of in Mexican food, which has a lot of cheese in it, right?
that's French.
French food? Well, I don't know what, there's that French paradox that they say.
There's a lot of butter.
They put a lot of butter. You're right. I think maybe it has to do with lifestyle too. Well, not maybe, it definitely does. Maybe they eat smaller portions. Maybe they exercise a lot more or walk everywhere. Maybe they have less stress. Maybe they get enough sleep. It could have to do with that, I suppose.
Or veggies.
Maybe they eat more veggies.
Short after.
They're short, happy lives. That could be. That could be.
Lot of it.
A lot of restaurants grow their own. You're right. And I love that we're doing that here. You see that a lot.
And besides fresh.
Yep. Fresh, fresh, fresh. And what's in season.
Right.
So if we wanted to reduce our saturated fats, what would we do? Well, we might switch to a plant-based milk or use non-fat if we're going to do dairy. We would limit our animal foods. And what would we have instead? Well, instead of ground meat, then maybe I'm going to put lentils into my soups or mushrooms or try those meat alternatives, or I'm going to throw nuts in or soy products. I'm going to try not to add fat to my recipes. So when a recipe calls for, and I'm telling you, every recipe starts with saute your onions in 2 tablespoons of oil. Well, we don't need to do that. John has taught us we don't need to do that. We can use water, we can use broth. We don't need to do it. That just adds more fat. We could swap eggs with plant foods. In fact, that's what John and I will be doing in 2 weeks. Right, John?
Yep.
We're going to do an egg swap. We could have scrambled tofu. We could use flax in place of eggs in recipes. I think I have a slide on that. And if you are having fat, choose a whole foods that have a healthy fat. So like if you love avocado, like maybe that guacamole isn't so bad. We just don't want to eat as much as we would on Super Bowl Sunday. A little less. Here's some egg swaps. I'm thinking these egg swaps, particularly in baked goods, as we're getting into the baking season. Applesauce instead of an egg. I tend to do the flax eggs all the time. A tablespoon of ground flax with 3 tablespoons of water. Let it sit for about 5 minutes. It kind of coagulates and gives it more of the properties of an egg for your recipe. Aquafaba, which I tend to use too when I have that. That's the liquid from your chickpea can or your garbanzo bean can. You could use that, 3 tablespoons in place of an egg. Prune puree sounds funky, but it's really good, say, in your chocolate brownies.
Really does a good job of sweetening.
It does, and it sweetens it. You're absolutely right. Pumpkin can be used too. So this isn't an egg swap, but our dressing today, we put pumpkin in there. Tofu can be excellent in place of an egg. Let's say is a 1/4 cup of in the silken tofu in particular. You know, tofu, we have a more firm one, and then we have a silken one that can mash and spin and smooth better. And chia seeds will work just like your flax. A tablespoon of whole or ground chia seeds and 3 tablespoons of water. Then you just let it sit for a few minutes. And then there's this just egg stuff. Has anybody tried just egg? Have you tried just egg? It comes in a little bottle, although I notice now in the stores it's in a little carton.
We still make it,
Mm-hmm.
because Target was to carry it, but I don't see the Target.
Oh, really? Oh,
At least the Target I know. Cheaper?
it is not cheap in
No.
any way, shape, or form. No, which is why I have not bought it. You didn't like it? I've had it at restaurants.
It's stuck to the pan.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. It's stuck to the pan. I've had it at restaurants and I thought it was good, but I will not spend. That's like that little jar is like $7 or $8.
I like the tofu, I like tofu.
I like tofu too, and John makes a really great omelet with chickpea flour. But I also have a recipe for making the just egg. And really the thing that's in it is mung beans. And so to make your own, you soak these mung beans for 4 hours, and then basically you blend it up and add these same seasonings that you see in here. The first time I did it, I had a problem with it sticking to the pan too. I finally invested in a pan that won't stick, and it did a great job. So it's hard. You got to have a good pan in order for it to not stick. You can also buy this stuff already made up in like a little breakfast sandwich style, like squares. So I don't know. It's an alternative. It's got a lot of stuff in it, I know. So and it's expensive. That's why I haven't bought it. But it is a good alternative, and restaurants are using it. And I still need to perfect making my own. Have you made it lately? The mung bean?
I did it once and said, a waste of time.
Yeah.
And it's, I actually like egg whites
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have the fats. It's quick, convenient.
Right.
Relatively cheap.
Mm-hmm.
For baking, I don't use egg whites. I use the chia or flax seed.
Chia or flax eggs
Flax
in
seed.
baking.
It does give you a flavor difference. Chia just has a real funky look. You have to make sure.
It changes the color. Chia. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So, I mean, this is just another option. Let's talk about these trans fat things. You know, way back in the day when we started the reversal program, nobody even knew about trans fats. And so we were trying to like help everybody. Well, all the companies were trying to get rid of fats because help people with their heart health. So we made margarine. Remember when margarine came out? And so in doing this, creating margarine, they created these weird things called trans fats that we didn't even know about. And these trans fats are kind of like our regular long string of fats, but they flip around that double bond where the H's go the wrong direction, and they call that trans fats. Lo and behold, we found out trans fats act just like saturated fat, and we shouldn't be having that. And here we're piling margarine on everything. So now we know, now it's on our label. It was in the 90s, they started adding it to the label. It's in anything, if you're reading your ingredients list, it would say it's hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated. And so we want to avoid trans fats. Lots of places like fast foods are trying to get rid of their trans fats. They use this because when you put it in the fry oil, you don't have to change it as often, and so it's cheaper. They put it in Twinkies because it'll last till the next millennium. So now we know, and they're taking the trans fats out of things. Most fast food places, I think, have. But even like I saw Fritos, trans fat free. I mean, they're still a Frito. They're not good for you. But people now think, oh, it doesn't have trans fat, so it must be good. Now, we want to eat like whole real foods when we can. No Fritos. So here's where we find our trans fats, mostly in baked goods. You know, crackers, cookies, pastries. So you don't see it as much anymore because people are hip to it now. But margarines, the more solid it is, shortening, Crisco, fried foods, fried chicken. Although I think a lot of these places are getting rid of the trans fats. So check your ingredients for hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated. If you see those, try not to get it. And they say, well, how much can I have? How much would be okay? None. So here's our triglycerides. Remember, it could have a mono, a poly, or a saturated fat, or all of the above attached. So a monounsaturated fat, that's that one double bond. Those are going to be in your avocados, your olives, your nuts, and the oils that they make. It's been shown to reduce our risk of heart disease and help lower our LDL if it's part of a diet that's already low in saturated fat. If we're eating steak and just pouring olive oil all over it, that does not help. It's got to be a diet that's low in saturated fat too. Polyunsaturated, more than one double bond. It's mostly in our plants and in fatty fish. And so it's not all fish that have our omega-3s. Remember, it's that salmon, mackerel, it's the big fish. So vegetable oils, soy, nuts and seeds, these tend to be associated with improvements in heart health. But I think, is my next slide? Nah, I got it. Has everybody heard about the whole seed oil issues? Everybody's all up in arms. I think it started on TikTok or something, which I don't get. But everybody's telling me, oh, you know why America is falling apart? It's seed oils. That's what it is. I mean, I have people who tell me that with a straight face. So we'll talk about seed oils in a minute. But here's, well, you'll see it. There are polyunsaturated on the left, monounsaturated on the right. The thing to remember is if you're going to include fat, if at all possible, choose the whole real food. Because even though olives, and I should say olives on this side, olives are good for us, when you squeeze them into oil, you do lose some of the properties. That being said, they have done studies that show it's makes an improvement in heart health. So try to eat the whole real food, the nut, the seed, the avocado, the olive. So here's my seed oil exchange. So some people have started this thing and they call it the Hateful Eight on the left. Oh, these are seed oils that are just ruining everything in America. And you find them, the trouble is, you do find them in all our processed foods. So if we just gave up processed foods, we'd be a lot better. But if we don't, they take a look at these and they say, oh, these are horrible. But one thing about our fats, remember we had the omega-6 and the omega-3s. So omega-3s tend to be associated with anti-inflammation and helping with heart disease and helping reduce clotting. So that's why we love omega-3s. Omega-6s kind of turn on all the other stuff. They increase inflammation. We got to have a little of both. But when we started eating all that margarine back in the day, we got way out of whack. So it's the ratio that counts. So we want to have, you know, some say 4-to-1, like 4 omega-6s to 1 omega-3. Again, you don't need to remember this stuff, but remember that soy and canola have good ratios. Hemp seed oil has a good ratio. Flaxseed oil, get this, is the opposite ratio. It has more omega-3s than omega-6s. So it's mostly in our super ultra processed foods that we should try not to have anyway. And another issue with this is what you'll see if you read about it, or your kids or your grandkids say, oh, you should not be eating those seed oils, Grandpa. No way. They'll say, oh, there's chemicals in processing. And they're right. There are. So if they do small batches of them and they're cold pressed to get the oil out, they don't use the chemicals. And they are linked to heart disease risk. That's what people say, oh my gosh, these are going to kill us. These are associated with heart disease. But the truth is, if you compare it to saturated and trans fats, they're really not. And if we replace our animal fats with these, the studies have shown it helps to lower our risk. So sure, we shouldn't be eating processed foods, and sure, we shouldn't be eating so many oils, but they're not as bad as those TikTokers make it sound. That's it. You heard it here. So here's our unsaturated fats, which we love. And you know, back in the day, we used to tell people not to have nuts. I don't even know if we allowed them at our potlucks. Did we? I don't think we did. And now, oh yeah, let's have some, bring on the nuts. So they're healthy. They recommend a serving a day, like 2 to 4 tablespoons, which is quite a bit. They have these things called plant stanols and sterols in them that tend to help lower your cholesterol. They are high in calories. So we got to be careful about how much we eat, because even Leanne said, those nuts and seeds are so good, we could just have those as a snack. And I said, oh, you don't want to have those while you're watching TV, because those will be gone in no time. So we do have to be careful about those. I know, exactly. Can't eat just one. I know. And here's our omega-3s. They've been associated with heart health, lowering our triglycerides, helping with brain health. Oh my gosh. If you wanted to take a supplement, a plant-based, a lot of people will take fish oil, which really hasn't been shown to be as effective as they thought it was going to be. That's the trouble with nutrition, is they think, oh, this sounds really good. And then everybody starts taking it. And then they find, oh, maybe it's not that good. We did that with vitamin E way back at the reversal program. Oh, vitamin E, it's going to just turn everything around. And then it turned out it didn't, taking a supplement. But I take a supplement of this. I take an algae-based, EPA and DHA are the type of omega-3s. I do it for brain health because I don't know if I get enough of these plant sources in my diet. Walnuts, there's the canola, there's their flax, and your chia and hemp. But the fish sources, there's our fish, salmon, trout, mackerel, tuna, sardines. You know, when we get into trouble with fish is we're just worried about contaminants in our fish these days. So I'm not recommending you eat fish, but if you do, these are the ones that have omega-3s. Yes. So they are the type that are found a lot in those seed oils. And it's a ratio. So it's okay to have some omega-6s. We're going to eat foods that have them. But it's the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 that counts. So if we're eating something that's loaded with even like safflower oil, loaded with omega-6s and a little omega-3s, that's not as good for us as, say, the soy or canola, which are, and they have, that's what these little numbers are underneath, is how the relationship. So omega-6s turn on inflammation and the omega-3s turn it off. Yes. Right. True.
Why is flax on that very?
I know, isn't it? I don't know. They're different seeds, different plants. What?
The flax, why is it? It's so cheap.
They're just all different. Yes, sir.
What's the notation? Post what?
Oh, most of the things that have a poor ratio. Thank you for saying, thanks for correcting that. Yeah, ones that have lots of omega-6 and low omega-3s are mostly in our ultra processed foods. Actually, most of these all are in our ultra processed foods.
So we want more threes than sixes as far as a ratio goes?
No, we're always gonna have a little more six.
Okay.
That's okay. A little more six. It's like 4-1 is what the recommendation is.
Okay.
But I mean, we're not gonna count that stuff. We don't know. We just want to try to avoid the ones that are super out of whack. And if there's anything we learned today, it's don't eat ultra processed foods. We're gonna do better with just whole real foods. Here's omega-3 seeds. Flax has been shown to reduce our inflammation, maybe because it's got more threes than sixes, help with high blood pressure, improve survival of breast and prostate cancer. Chia has maybe a little more protein than those other seeds, got fiber, magnesium, iron. It's a super strong antioxidant. And then there's our hemp. It's got some protein in it too, fiber, nutrients. That's kind of general. I'm not sure what I meant by that. They have an anti-inflammatory. And you're saying, well, where do I get these weird things? I get them in the bins at Winco, although they have them now in the state. What area, like at Rayleigh's, would these be? I was by
Natural foods.
natural food section,
Or also where they have Bob's Red Mill.
wherever Bob's Red Mill.
Yeah, because Safeway has a Bob's Red Mill section,
Oh, that's cool.
as well as distributing where it should be.
Yeah. Okay.
A good company.
Yes, I totally agree. I like Bob's Red Mill. Yes, Sprouts too. And you know what? In Winco, I don't know if all the products, but a lot of their products, if there was, like their oatmeal, I think comes from Bob's Red Mill. I think they use the big bags of Bob's Red Mill.
In their bulk section.
In their bulk section, yeah.
Co-op does that too.
Yeah. So what do you do with these darn things? I put them in my oatmeal. You can shake them on salads. I think hemp are particularly nice on salads, add a little crunch. Throw them in smoothies. You can use them as a binder or egg replacer in recipes. You can make crackers out of them. Like those nuts and seeds you did today. I bet you could crush those out and make crackers with them. That would have been good. You could add them to breakfast bites. What I meant by that was sometimes you'll mix like your oatmeal with some peanut butter and some honey and make a little ball. And so you could throw these in too. It just adds a little more. I throw them in my homemade granola that I make. Sprinkle them on your soups or grains. You can use them as thickeners. So I know they're kind of weird and new to a lot of us, but they can be good.
What do you think of Mary's crackers? They don't use oil, but I think I'm so.
I don't know that they're particular. I like Mary's crackers. Is it Mary's Gone crackers or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gluten-free. Yeah, I like Mary's crackers.
I think they're wonderful.
They might be, because I bought them a few times.
Except for the seeds.
Except for the seeds. Yeah, so they're not fat-free, but yeah,
Yeah.
they don't add oil.
Price.
They can be, and I just saw they're on sale somewhere. I just saw an ad for them.
Yeah,
Maybe it's Rayleigh's.
you don't want one like not two.
Yeah. So this is just a little list, no doubt made by the canola company to show that they are the best. But if you take a look, the red is the saturated fat. And then the blue is the polyunsaturated. And the, I don't know, tan, whatever that, are omega-3s. And then just another type of fat, they happen to be omega-9s, doesn't matter, is what the yellow is. So canola, their big selling point, what they push, is they say that they have like the best ratio of everything. Here, we all love to have olive oil, but olive oil is higher in saturated fat than the canola is. Canola oil, one of the dreaded seed oils. It's made from the rape seed, which was an unfortunate name. So they changed it canola because it comes from Canada.
It comes from where?
Canada. Yes.
Canada actually changed it officially.
Yes. Oh, they don't call it rapeseed anymore?
They don't.
Is it?
It's
Canola
because
seed?
It was, they had a board for the farmers.
Right.
And they decided that it was really a difficult sale
Uh-huh.
to call rape oil.
Exactly.
So It's now Canadian oil.
Oh, okay.
And this Canadian Ola is.
Oh, nice. All right. So this is just interesting. So I'm just showing it to you, but also look down at our butter and our palm oil and our lard, how those are in saturated fat. So we want to reduce some fats in our diet. So even if we're choosing good fats, we don't want to have too much because they're loaded with calories. And so we could reduce our amount of meat or have no meat. We could have no or only non-fat dairy. We could limit our high-fat condiments like that secret sauce and mayo and what else? And what? Salad dressings, yes?
Find out if I'm right. You're talking about fat.
Correct.
There's a good and a bad fat.
Yes.
Is there a way you could give us a list with the red flash of all the bad ones? You just stay away from those and just use the good fat. I think.
I bet we could do that.
I like that. And the other thing is, now we're getting to the stress. I find it stressful trying to figure out which is which and what's what, because I can't read and I can't, And I'm thinking, is there good stress? Is this gonna be good stress? Otherwise, I'm killing two birds with one stone.
It can be like, do we have dietary stress? You're right. So you're asking, first of all, can we have a list of good versus bad? We can do that. And then it is stressful. I don't disagree with you to try to figure out what to do. And so I think to boil it down to the easiest thing, you try to eat whole real foods and not worry about things in boxes. And I think that's the best thing we can do. But that in life, we can't really do that all the time. So I'm not sure if we could call it good stress though. I don't think we can go that far. Like planning your daughter's wedding, that's kind of good stress. But I'm not sure if this would be good stress, but it's going to be good when it's done and when we figure it out. And there's only, after a while, you get it down. I'm old and I've been doing it a long time. And it's my job. So if we want to reduce more fat, so we could bake, broil, grill, but not fry. So that's simple enough. Cut added fats in our recipes. So don't add oil and mayonnaise and all those kind of things to our recipes. Swap out the high fat things for low fat or plant sources. You know, they do make a sour cream, but that's more plant-based and less saturated fat, but I don't really think it's all that good. I don't love sour cream, so I couldn't even tell you. But olive oil mayo, so we cut out the,
And it has less saturated fat and.
yeah, so it might be a good choice, and watch your portions of it. I mean, I tend to use like cashew cream instead of sour cream. Like John makes an awesome cashew cream sour cream. So I tend to use those. Anything else? I'll work on that list though.
Cream cheese, is there?
Cream cheese. There is a plant-based cream cheese, but it's still loaded with saturated fat. What do you use for cream cheese?
I just let the sour cream get older.
Older, thicker.
That
and you use
just
that.
thickens up this bunches on the sugar center.
Yeah, I think I would do that too.
One thing about your high-fat toppings, there's an article in the Times this morning on maybe we could include butter again.
Oh my gosh, it keeps coming back, that butter.
It's never gonna go, but
Ugh,
you should be aware that
okay.
the journalists of tomorrow are getting hints that maybe butter could be better.
That's going to be the next thing. Butter is not better. It never has been. But okay.
In the, say, like, I can't think of smart balance.
Earth balance.
Other-
That's what I have in my house is a plant-based. It's got a good ratio of the oils in it. It's still not a heart healthy thing. I mean, it's still not great for us, but when I want a little margarine, that's what I use. I use the Earth Balance myself.
So I went to the store to get plant-based margarine.
Yes.
Compared it to regular
Uh-huh.
margarine. Same thing.
Same thing?
Yeah, except for 69 cents more.
Oh,
the
if
plant
that was
ones.
all, because sometimes those plant ones are really expensive.
Yeah.
Oh. So bottom line is choose healthy fats. There's our nuts and seeds, our avocado, our olives, our plant oils. Limit your saturated fat, which is your animal foods, your processed stuff, your fast foods. And so what do you think you might want to do? Is there anything that you eat now that you think you could substitute with something else? Or how will you try to add some of these healthy fats? Imagine that we're not taking it away, we're going to add it.
So I have a question.
Yes.
One time John Travolta said, I eat anything I want
Yes.
and then burn it off.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, so does that work? I mean,
No.
don't our arteries get clogged out? Yeah.
No, he burns off those calories.
Right.
But I think the saturated fats still clog in his arteries. Yes.
That's a lot to burn out calories.
Yes.
If
Uh-huh.
you're gonna eat anything you
If you're
want.
gonna eat- Exactly.
Yeah, you were right. You can never out exercise all your calories. So we could do, to change things, we could do like in that soup. You're going to be making some soups this season. They're going to call for coconut milk. So maybe we do just a plant milk with some coconut extract. That makes it, it's an easy change. Maybe you thicken it up with some of that cashew cream, which is just soaked cashews that you blended up. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
We use an oat milk.
Oat milk with coconut extract, and it was, we did a 1 cup milk to 1 teaspoon of extract.
Is that a better oat milk, a better alternative for baking?
Over almond or soy.
I'd say for baking, soy is better because it has more protein in it than the other ones. So it's more likely to replace milk in it. So soy is better. Oat milk is okay too. Almond milk doesn't have a whole lot. It's got like this much almond in it and the rest water. But it gets your cereal wet for hardly any calories, so that's good. It is really watery. You're right. You're right.
Isn't it almond milk back from going to?
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they can make it a product instead of buying from the store.
that is true. You could make it.
Well, not even add butter. Or have your milk.
You are right. And if more power to you if you do that. It's just, that to me is a lot of work, but you're absolutely right. You're right.
Compared almond milk to cow, though. You can get still less more.
Yeah,
So it's. But it's soy is so much more available.
it is.
Packs more of a punch.
Hmm.
Also, like, I have soy in the refrigerator, but I also have some soy that is on the shelf,
Right.
so that I'm running up in the little companies where, you know, various types of shelf. Some can buy shelf staples.
Shelf stable soy milk, you can do that. You can do it with almond milk too, and probably oatmeal, but yeah, you're absolutely right. So you have one on deck.
Right.
So to replace it, and it's that aseptic packaging, so it doesn't have to fill up your fridge. Thanks for pointing that out. It's a good idea.
Bean soups.
I think they're okay. I always have a couple on hand in case I don't have anything for dinner, those Amy soups. They're not super low in salt, really, but they're moderate, But-
If it's towards evening time, and it's one
and I have nothing.
cup of soup.
Exactly. Yeah, I think they're okay. Yes, yes. Uh-huh. Yes. Pudding. Oh, people love the chia pudding. You're right. Uh-huh. Yeah, and thank you. I always forget that because I'm not a real pudding lover myself, so I forget that that's a really great option. And some of the students have made those chia puddings and they're very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the overnight oat.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm. Overnight oats is good. So just think about if there's anything you might want to change in what you're doing. Here was my recipe today. And it was butternut squash that I roasted at the same time I was roasting my rice. And then I had my kale. We talked about massaging the kale. I think I could have massaged it a little bit more. Kale's kind of tough. And so I put a little lemon juice on it and you just squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it. And it just breaks down all little cell membrane. So it's a little easier to chew. I didn't use oil in any of it. Took a, apple. It's sort of fall flavors with pumpkin seeds. Your seeds would have been way better. Dates, I think I would have added, cranberries or something too. And that dressing, I think, was the most interesting. I don't know. Did you like the dressing? It was kind of thick, I thought, but it seemed to fit when I put it on there. Yes.
I also use olive oil for dressing,
Uh-huh.
avocado oil for cooking. Because olive oil is not
Right.
good for- but I thought about canola oil, it's less expensive than.
Definitely. You're right.
But I read something about canola oil in the USA,
Uh-huh.
it's modified, it's genetically modified.
Mm-hmm.
That would make me like, I better avoid it because I'm a little bit,
Yes.
so what do you think?
Thank you for saying that because I should have included that on my slide. So they recommend if you're doing the soy or the canola, you want to get the organic version and then they're not genetically modified. Because that's another downside to the seed oils, a lot of people say, is on these TikToks and all that stuff, is that they're genetically engineered. And they are, unless you get organic. So thanks for saying that because I meant to include that in my slides, especially the soy. Most any soy grown in our country is genetically engineered. So you want to always get, even for your tofu and everything, the organic. Yeah, thanks for saying that. Okay, so happy fall. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for our egg swap. Yes.
So do we move on?
Ooh,